It's time for the Rip City Drive, brought to you by Goldberg Jones. Divorce for Men, 1-800-DIVORCE. Featuring the crazy and often irrational longtime Portland radio vet, Chad Dewing.
Mize to Carroll with the 1-2. And a high fly ball to deep right center field. Corbin Carroll leans into this one for a home run. Little man, but big time pop. Corbin Carroll, Aranda. Slices a fly ball to left center field, headed towards the wall, but short, and the National League wins it in the first swing off. Kyle Schwarber wins it, going 3 for 3. And the National League, after watching a 6-0 lead disappear in the game, still win this All-Star game with a swing off.
Strap in. The Rip City Drive with Chad Dewing starts now.
All right, we're going to get to the pressing matters in just a moment, but it was just brought to my attention that we have 2 pairs of tickets to give away for the Mother of All Tribute Festivals in Canby tomorrow. Jason Fellman, my good friend, is playing in 2 bands out there, and it really is a great festival. Telephone number is 503-248-0620. 503-248-0620. If you'd like a pair of tickets for Hairfest, the mother of all tribute festivals, fire away right now. We'll take the first 2 callers through. 503-248-0620. I want to hear from a fan of Holland Bros. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. If you'd like a pair of tickets for Hairfest, the mother of all tribute festivals out in Canby this weekend, call now, 503-248-0620, 503-248-0620. The weather's going to be nice. We all love music, and it really gives you a chance to kick back and enjoy yourself. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. Call now. If you like music, call. If you like great rock and roll, 503-248-0620. All right, now to the important matters.
On Hike and Rose Garden Report, Adam, the Paul Allen estate a couple of months ago announced that the Trailblazers are officially for sale. So I'm just curious, from the league's end, has there been any updates on that? And also, is it a priority for you guys that the team gets sold to a group that wants to keep the team in Portland long term?
Yeah, it's the league's preference that team remain in Portland. We've had great success in Portland over the years. I don't have a specific update on the process, but I know it is underway, and I know there are groups that are actively engaged with the estate and have demonstrated interest in that team. I'd say one of the factors there is the city of Portland likely needs a new arena. So that will be part of the challenge for any new ownership group coming in, but it does certainly be our preference that team remain in Portland.
All right, that's Commissioner Silver. The man asking the question was our Trailblazer insider, Sean Hyken from the Rose Garden Report. He's at Summer League in Vegas, and he was there at the press conference, and he had one simple mission yesterday, to be at the press conference, to be able to ask that specific question to Commissioner Silver, and he pulled it off. Now, I'm just going to be completely honest about my initial reaction when I heard the comments from Commissioner Silver. I was surprised and a bit alarmed that he mentioned the arena problems with Moda Center. And immediately I started to think, well, why? Why would he bring that up? So let's recap on what we know so far. And this was brought up yesterday with the Godfather, Dwight James. We know that right now the NBA has been planning for quite some time to add 2 expansion teams. The 2 cities that is widely known to receive a team in expansion would be Seattle and Las Vegas. Those are 2 markets that Commissioner Silver definitely wants to get teams in to be able to capitalize. Seattle, which got robbed of their team that's now in Oklahoma City with the Thunder, and then Vegas, for obvious reasons, they want a team in Las Vegas. But over the last month or so, we kept hearing reports that they weren't really sure what direction they were going to go immediately with expansion. And what I was able to gather from people I know is that James Dolan, the owner of the Knicks, is the one who's leading the charge to fight expansion. James Dolan, Mr. Nice Guy James Dolan, is the guy fighting it. And the reason why is that now that the NBA has been locked into this multi-billion-dollar TV deal, the brand new one that Commissioner Silver was able to lock in with new TV partners, the owners, Dolan particularly, they don't want to share in the revenues. And obviously, if you bring in two new teams, that's two more slices of the pie that has to be handed out. And let's face it, some of these billionaire owners are greedy. I don't have a problem with billionaires at all. It's America. Do whatever you can to make it a better place. And if you can make a lot of money in the process, good for you. But some of these guys are greedy. James Dolan is a greedy SOB. Not a good guy, not a smart guy as an owner. He's a bad front man for a band, using his money and influence to open up for the Eagles. He had Charles Oakley, Nick Legend, removed from Madison Square Garden. He's very soft. He's just a weirdo. Not a fan. But he's the one leading the charge. And so now you've got this group up in Seattle that built a brand new arena in Climate Pledge, basically promised that they were going to get an NBA team, and now they're super upset because the league isn't really saying anything about expansion. The league wants to expand, but they're going to take a long look at it. And the problem is, if Seattle does not get an expansion team, that could present the opportunity for the Trailblazers to be moved to the Emerald City, which, of course, has been a longtime fear of a number of Blazer fans because of the connection between Paul Allen, Vulcan, and Seattle and Microsoft. The whole deal. It's always been a fear of Blazer fans. It's always been in the back of their mind that that could be a possibility. So what would happen is you get a group out of Seattle to buy the team. Seattle doesn't get an expansion team, and then they grease the wheels to move the Trailblazers to Seattle because they've got a brand new arena ready to roll in Climate Pledge. And I have been told, and the Godfather confirmed this, and I've got some pretty good sources up in Seattle, there's two groups within Amazon who have interest, severe interest. Now, the Godfather told us yesterday that there's also two groups that he's aware of in Portland that want to buy the team and that would like to keep it here in Portland. But, of course, if you get into a bidding war for the franchise, it's hard to compete with Amazon money because they're printing their own cash. Now, with Commissioner Silver, I do believe that he wants to keep the Trailblazers in Portland. They don't want another disaster on their hands like we had with the Sonics being shipped out to Oklahoma City. That was a black eye for the league. They don't want that to happen. They want expansion to take place. At least that's where Commissioner Silver is coming from. And Portland, for being a small market, has been a viable city for an NBA franchise for years. Wildly successful, great fan support. It's a place where you can have a team and have success and get the proper support to be able to do the things that you need to do. Unlike places like New Orleans or Memphis, which have mostly been disasters. So, as a Blazer fan, just to keep it simple, what you want to hope for are two things, one or the other. The NBA adds expansion, taking care of the Seattle problem, and the Blazers are secure in the Rose City forever. Or a local group is able to purchase the team, win the bid, and commit to the Rose City into the foreseeable future. Now, Moda Center does have issues. It's 30 years old, and at some point you're going to need a new arena or massive overhaul and upgrades to be able to get it up to par so you can get the revenue streams out of the arena that are needed to be viable. There's no question. The problem is, if a new arena is required and you have to turn to the city to get tax dollars, the people and the city are not going to show the support. It's never happening. You know it and I know it. Now, you can get a new arena with private funding, maybe whoever buys a team has got their eyes set on land outside of the city. Maybe it's Beaverton, maybe it's Hillsborough, and you build an arena and then you build the support system around it with lodging, housing, restaurants, other businesses. Maybe you make it like the Battery down in Atlanta where it's a destination point, and all of a sudden they're looking at it as an NBA team along with a massive real estate deal to where you can really make some real money. That's a possibility as well. But I would say, for the longest time, I have never been concerned about the Blazers being moved to the Seattle area because I've been told all along from multiple people that the NBA does not want them to move, they would not approve a move, and that it would not happen. Plus, I knew that Seattle was getting an expansion team. But with this sudden halt, thanks to James Dolan, if this process gets dragged out over a longer period of time and a group, let's say an Amazon group, comes in and buys the Blazers, who's going to stop them from moving? The commissioner couldn't. Ron Wyden can't prevent it from happening. And NBA owners don't really like to meddle in other owners' business because they want autonomy over their teams as well, obviously. So that's where we sit. So in the end, right now, today, I still believe that the Blazers will remain in Portland. I think expansion is likely to happen because it's what Commissioner Silver wants. And I think over the course of time, he's going to be able to get the support from enough governors to make it happen. But if they drag the process out and they continue to drag their heels because you don't have enough owners who feel the urgency to expand because they want to continue to line their fat-ass pockets with money, that could open up the door to get the Blazers up in Seattle. Possibly. Now, I have talked to others who see the comments by Silver just simply as a power play, just to kind of let people know, like, hey, we're going to need a new arena in Portland. They're going to need some support to get that done, whether it's in the city, maybe the current site, or it's outside of the city limits of Portland. The commissioner was just letting it be known that we need a new arena and just trying to apply a little bit of pressure. Maybe that's it. But it's concerning. A little bit. But I still think the Blazers are going to remain in Portland. I'm just saying that today, after the comments from Commissioner Silver, I'm a little concerned. That's all. So I guess the question would be for you, what do you think about the comments? Let's take a listen one more time.
Sean?
Sean Hiken, Rose Garden Report. Adam, the Paul Allen estate a couple of months ago announced that the Trailblazers are officially for sale. So I'm just curious, from the league's end, has there been any updates on that? And also, is it a priority for you guys that the team gets sold to a group that wants to keep the team in Portland long term?
Yeah, it's the league's preference that that team remain in Portland. We've had great success in Portland over the years. I don't have a specific update on the process, but I know it is underway, and I know there are groups that are actively engaged with the estate and have demonstrated interest in that team. I'd say one of the factors there is the city of Portland likely needs a new arena. So that will be part of the challenge for any new ownership group coming in, but it does certainly be our preference that team remain in Portland.
So what do you think about the comments? Was that concerning to you? Am I reading it right? The reason why I'm asking the question is the commissioner never says anything out of place. He's like a politician. He's planned. Like, he's not shooting from the hip. He knew he was going to get the question, and that's the answer he gave. So there was purpose behind it. Someone that I know that I can't give the name because I don't want to blow the cover. I will read that a little bit later. We got to come back. Here's what we're going to do. It sucks to start the show with such a heavy topic. Hey, guys, we might lose the Blazers to Seattle. Hey-oh! Like, that, you don't want that. I don't want that. So we're going to take a brief moment to focus on something we do love. Our furry little friends. I've got puppy shots all locked and loaded for Pup City, which is coming up on the 27th. And I'm going to be joined by two people, one from the Blazers and one from a wonderful organization, one tail at a time. One tail at a time. And we're going to focus on Pup City, a chance for you and your little furry friend to enjoy a 1.3K mile walk around the Rose Quarter. I'll be down there with Puppy Shots. Puppy Shots! I was talking to him about the walk today. He just gave me the head tilt like, dude, I'm trying to take a nap right now. All right, so we'll focus on Pup City. At 4:20, the Godfather, who was with me yesterday, is going to join me for his thoughts on Commissioner Silver's comments from last night. And then Sean Heiken will join me. The one who asked the question will get his reaction. All right, 503-248-0620. Join us on YouTube, youtube.com. Pull up Rip City Radio 620. You can view my mug if you so desire. And you can always listen and podcast the show on our free iHeartRadio app. All right, my friends, coming up on Sunday, July 27th at the Rose Quarter campus is going to be the 2025 Pup City Walk around the Rose Quarter. It's a 1.3K walk. Puppy Shots and I were there last year, and we're back this year, and Shots is excited about it, presented by Tavo. This year, the local foster home and dog rescue, One Tail at a Time, is the featured nonprofit. They do great work for our furry little loved ones, and the weather's going to be perfect. It's a great time to get out and enjoy some sunshine with your dog. I'm very happy to welcome to the show right now from the Trailblazers, Group Sales Account Executive Austin Bergquist, and from the Adoption Center, One Tail at a Time, the manager, Aiden Wood. Guys, welcome to the show. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Chad. How are you?
Oh, very well.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, no, it's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. Austin, I want to start with you just for some of the particulars. So coming up on Sunday, it's going to be the 27th. It's going to be there at the Rose Quarter campus, 9 o'clock start, 1.3K mile walk. How do people get involved and get signed up?
Yeah, no, great question. Just to start, we're super excited about this event, second summer in a row, bringing it back. Folks can head to trailblazers.com/pubcity and register there.
That's awesome. All right, Aiden, you guys, I think they're off Sandy Boulevard. I've seen you driving by multiple times, but kind of give a breakdown for what you do, because I love dogs like most of the people in the city. Michael Shacker here loves dogs, but you guys really do a great job of rescuing them and then finding homes for them. So give us some background on One Tail at a Time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So One Tail at a Time, we're an all-breed, no-kill dog rescue. We're all foster-based, so all of our dogs live in loving foster homes until they find their forever home. And our mission is just to improve the lives of companion animals by providing humane, individualized care and a chance to know the comforts of a loving home through community advocacy and education and support.
That's terrific. I've seen videos of the foster homes before. How does one become a foster home to dogs?
Oh, okay. So you would just go to our website. It's otatpdx.org, otatpdx.org, and then you go into the Get Involved tab and then sign up to foster. It's pretty easy to get started, and then it's just signing a waiver and answering some questions, and you can get started with us. And anybody can foster. We have all kinds of dogs, and it's low commitment. You know, you can foster any kind of dog that works for you for however long you're able to. It just helps us get more dogs out of shelters and into loving homes.
See, this is great. I'm asking the question not for the listeners, but for me, because I want to become a foster home for dogs, because the more furry friends I've got, the better, right?
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. I would have as many as I could if that was possible. We'd love to have you as a foster.
All right, Austin, I love Pup City, but what I think is great about the walk is that it's long enough to where it's enjoyable, but it's not too long. So I really think you've done a good job of creating an event that's for all people and dogs.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And just to your point, it isn't a super long walk. It's just around our campus. And then when you come back, you got 20 plus pup-friendly and human-friendly vendors, Tipsy Scoop, Portland Pet Food, Portland Gear will be there, Northeast Creperie, Country Coffee. Like you said, Chad, it's a quick walk. It's in the morning, really before the heat really comes out. We'll have pools there for dogs to jump in. Like you said, quick and easy. But then when you come back, there's plenty of things to keep you there for a little longer.
No, it was great. I enjoyed it last year because when we were done with the walk, Shots and I were able to bump around and check out some of the vendors. They had people there who were selling healthy dog treats and different types of food, but also there were people there who specialize in, dog seats so you can have your dog protected when you travel. So pretty much everything you could want as a dog owner, they're going to have there that you can check out before and after the walk. Yeah,
absolutely. Tavo will be there showing off, some of the stuff that they have going on. They've been a great partner to work with us for this event. We'll also have an obstacle course for folks to participate in, possibly get a little prize or whatnot once they go through that. So yeah, just like you said, plenty going on once the walk wraps up on the Rose Quarter campus.
And I wanted to ask you about One Tail at a Time. What do you see in dogs who have been taken in and rescued? What's their reaction when they get adopted and they know that they've got a new home and they found someone to give them love? Can you see it in their reaction and in their face, how happy they are? I can't imagine how great that is.
I mean, I see it even when they just get here, and because we're bringing in a new flight of dogs this coming Monday from Texas, and the second they get off the plane and then get into someone's homes, we have a page where all our fosters can like send photo updates of how they're doing, and even within like 24 hours even, some of these dogs, it's just like they're just able to just breathe like a sigh of relief and relax, and like to see a dog that maybe has never been in a home or on a couch before, just like relaxing with a family that's loving, it's just the most rewarding thing I can imagine.
This is awesome. So explain how that works, because you got dogs coming in from Texas. So how does that process work to where you let it be known about your mission, and basically you'll take in dogs from anywhere in the country to be able to protect them and provide safety for them until they get a home?
Well, so we do. So we would love to actually like expand over the country, but we do have a sister organization that we got involved with in West Texas. That just happens to be. So we do have an OTAT West Texas now that opened last year. They are just very much in need in that area. There's just not as many resources, not enough funding, and not as many homes. So we fly them up with this amazing organization, another nonprofit called Dog is My Co-Pilot. It's pilots offering their time, volunteering their time to fly dogs from underserved areas to areas like Portland or Seattle. And about every 3 weeks, for most of the months of the year, we're bringing up 20 to 25 dogs at a time from Texas to bring them here.
That's terrific. Now, at one tail at a time, how does it work? Can people come down and check out some of your pups if they want to adopt?
So we do have, since we're all foster-based, most of them are in a foster home. So the best way to do it is to fill out an adoption application on our website, and then you can indicate who you're interested in. Our website is always full of bios and information and pictures on all of our dogs that we have in our care. And then also if you check us out on Instagram at OTAPPDX, we share content all day, on dog content all day. And then you can apply to adopt. And then we also do have a couple days we're open during the week, Thursdays and Fridays, 2:30 to 6:30. We'll always have at least one adoptable dog there available to take home that day. And every other Saturday right now, we're typically doing our all tails adoption events where we'll have 8 to 10 dogs there available to adopt on the spot.
And from what I can see, the investment to adopt a dog or a puppy, it's actually very affordable. It's not not bad.
No, it's really not. I mean, our base flat price is typically $500, but that includes so much. It's including spay and neuter, microchip. They're up to date on all their vaccinations. They've been seen by one of our vets.
Nice.
And we provide training support if you need it. I think honestly, sometimes just a spay and neuter alone can cost $500 or more. So I think it totally, is totally worth it for the lifelong love of an animal.
We're talking with Austin Bergquist of the Trailblazers and Aiden Wood from One Tail at a Time Adoption Center. Now, Austin, last year, Blaze, the trail cat, who was awesome, was leading the charge. Is he going to be down there again on the 27th?
Yes, Blaze will be in attendance. He will be the only cat, I believe, that will be on campus that day.
That's great. It's fun. No, it's great. It's fun to see the dog's reaction to mascots. Some of them are down. Puppy Shots was kind of standoffish, but I like to see how they react to Blaze. Yeah,
definitely probably the biggest cat they've ran into.
All right, one other question I have for you outside of Pup City, Austin, as an account executive for the team, are you sensing some excitement around town with the arrival of young Hansen?
Oh, yeah. I mean, super excited. I don't know if you've been watching Summer League, Chad, but he's just doing some crazy things out there that, Summer League is a great opportunity for these young guys to get out there and show what they have before the season tips off in October. So, yeah, a ton of excitement, especially the way the second half of the season went last year. I think folks, especially in our building and fans that we chat with, are just super excited for the season to get going, and it'll be here before we know it.
That's great. I've got 2 more questions. Aiden, we'll start with you. So the best place, I would imagine, if you want to become a foster home for dogs or if you're looking to adopt, is just go to your website?
Yes, absolutely. So OTATPDX.org, or if you want to stop by at our adoption center during our open hours, we're at 5132 Northeast Sandy Boulevard. I'm there most of the time, so I'm happy to chat with you about dogs all the time, anytime.
And Austin, one more time, how can people sign up for Pup City?
Yep, folks can go online, purchase their tickets at trailblazers.com/Pup City. It's super important to call out everyone that signs up online receives a Pup City tote bag along with a tennis ball, and then a portion of each ticket goes back to One Tail at a Time to support everything they're doing.
All right, Austin Bergquist of the Trailblazers, Aiden Wood of One Tail at a Time Adoption Center. I want to thank you guys for coming on. I'm excited about Pup City. Aiden, I really respect your love of dogs. I think it's awesome. And Austin, thanks for your time, man, and helping us put this together.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chad.
You got it.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. There you go. Pup City coming up real soon. It's going to be on the 27th, and you can sign up now. Just go to the Trailblazers website. I'll be down there. And Puppy Shots is becoming famous, so if you want to meet little Puppy Shots, he'll be happy. He loves love. He doesn't really care about other animals, but I was really proud of him. I didn't know how to respond, being around a bunch of other dogs and going on a walk out in public, but he was on a mission. He just zipped around a couple of times, and then we checked out some of the vendors, and it turned out to be a good time. But One Tail at a Time is a very good organization. You know, my brother, Chris, it breaks my heart, but he's a, what do you call them? A park ranger. He works for the feds. He's out in Georgia, out in the woods, and he's taken in a couple of dogs already because what people do, these sinister human beings, these despicable losers, they go out in the woods and they they just leave a box of puppies behind or dogs, and they just desert their animals. And so my brother will come across him on a regular basis. So he's already taken in a couple of dogs, but when he finds dogs that have been left behind, he will get them to a local rescue center for animals. And so that's why I think it's great that One Tail at a Time is out there doing good work. 503-248-0620. Shacker, you should bring Dino down to Pup City. Dino would love to go on a short walk.
Yeah, and I also want to bring my new dog, Doug. He looks just like Douglas Fir.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
How do Dino and Doug Fir get along?
They get along well. They like to wrestle. They'll wrestle for hours at a time.
That's awesome. All right, Pup City, Sunday the 27th. I'll be there. Blaze the Trail Cat's going to be there. Get your dog down there for a wonderful way to kick off a Sunday in the month of July. The weather right now is fabulous. Also, a reminder coming up on Monday the 21st out at Langdon Farms Golf Club. It's the 5th annual We Play Open, a 145 shotgun start. Alex Brink, Ryan DiPaolo from E4 Sports, former Coug, former Duck, are going to be out there. They host the tournament, and it's going to be a lot of fun. 145 shotgun start. You can go to weplayfoundation.org/events and sign up as a single or get a foursome together. Look, golf is great. And you don't want to be at work on a Monday in July when the weather's nice. Why would you want to do that? Who cares what your boss has to say? Call in sick, do whatever it takes, get out there and play golf with us, man. And Langdon Farms played it recently. It's in good condition, and it's a great setup. They have a nice dinner afterwards. There'll be an auction, and it's going to be dialed in. So I'm encouraging you to get your tails out there on Monday, Langdon Farms, on the 21st for the 5th annual We Play Open. All right, here's what we're talking about right now. And we're going to have a conversation with the Godfather, Dwight James. And again, I want your take on this. I want to know what you thought about the comments from Commissioner Silver. Or maybe you just don't care right now because it's summertime, it's a slow time in sports, and you're just waiting for football. And you don't want to think about things that could be troublesome. I want to know if you were concerned when you heard these comments.
Sean?
Sean Heiken, Rose Garden Report. Adam, the Paul Allen estate a couple of months ago announced that the Trailblazers are officially for sale. So I'm just curious from the league's end, has there been any updates on that? And also, is it a priority for you guys that the team gets sold to a group that wants to keep the team in Portland long term?
Yeah, it's the league's preference that that team remain in Portland. We've had great success in Portland over the years. I don't have a specific update on the process, but I know it is underway, and I know there are groups that are actively engaged with the estate and have demonstrated interest in that team. I'd say one of the factors there is the city of Portland likely needs a new arena. So that will be part of the challenge for any new ownership group coming in, but it to certainly be our preference that team remain in Portland.
All right, there's Commissioner Silver. Great work by our Trailblazer insider, Sean Heiken from Rose Garden Report, who will join the show at 5:20. Look, I'm not even playing doom and gloom. Like, I'm not going to take that path. I was just alarmed when I heard the comments about the arena. Because what it felt like to me is that Adam Silver was greasing the wheels for a potential move, Trailblazers to Seattle. That's my initial thought. Now, I have heard a variety of different things. I want to read this to you from someone that is highly involved in the NBA, reached out to me to share some thoughts. And here's how the conversation went. Chad, are you a little concerned about the announcement? The NBA expansion is essentially on hold. The New York Times yesterday said Seattle was the first on the list to get either an expansion team or a team from another market. I'm nervous. And Jeff Bezos has been selling tons of stock the last few months. Look it up. He then put the quote from Silver in the text. The city of Portland likely needs a new arena. That will be a part of the challenge for any new owner, but it would be our preference that the team remain in Portland. You think the city will spring for a new arena? I think we all know the answer to that question. Adam Silver never says anything without purpose. If you spent $4 billion on an NBA team, you'd want it in whatever city gives you the most bang for your buck. I hope Portland is ready to revitalize the Rose Quarter and turn it into a mega entertainment zone right down to the water. That's what NBA owners want now. It's not all about the team. It's the real estate around the team. But the Coliseum is a huge roadblock. So is the grain dock and Interstate Avenue. Moda may be outdated. Holy crap. That's the response I got from someone I respect. Yeah, what is that grain elevator doing there anyways? Can someone explain that one to me? And why do we have to have the Memorial Coliseum? Probably need to get rid of that thing too. The Trailblazers are vitally important to the city of Portland and to all of us. Sports make cities better. It improves the quality of life, the living, everything. It's very important. What I'm concerned about, though, is a lot of politicians, particularly with city councils, sometimes they don't understand the importance of sports or our local parks. But they want money for their programs and all this other nonsense. Oh, yeah. It's always something, isn't it? You can't even have a peaceful day without worrying about something. All right, 503-248-0620. I appreciate your time on this Wednesday. The Godfather, Dwight Jane's going to join us at 4:20. Sean Hiken at 5:20. Join me for Pup City. Get down there with your dog. What else are you going to do on a Sunday morning? Now, if you tell me you're going to play golf, that's fine, but you can hit the walk, take your dog home, and then go play golf. All right? All right, Sean Hiken, 5:20. The Dwight Jane's coming up at 4:20. You got the Rip City Drive. All right, I just want to let all the NFL fans know right now so you're prepared for it. The Denver Broncos are back, and they're about to take over the league once again. So that means if you're a Charger fan, if you're a Chief fan, if you're a Raven fan, I would say Raider fan, but they're a joke. Just prepare yourself for what's coming right now. The Denver Broncos, in a very short period of time under Sean Payton, have put together a squad that's badass. And I'm thoroughly pumped. Pumped on a variety of different levels. One, because Bo Nix, and this is critical, he's coming off a stellar rookie year. And keep in mind, I wasn't really thrilled when the Broncos drafted him. But what he proved in year one is that the arm strength's not a problem. He's got great mobility. No one understands his athleticism. He's very intelligent. Teammates love him. But here's the key. He's got a year under his belt. And he's talked about this over the last couple of weeks where, as a rookie, you're just trying to figure out your offense, your side of the ball. Getting in and out of the huddle in time, trying to figure out the playbook, trying to figure out the formations, trying to understand the guys you have around you. It's a lot for a rookie quarterback. But now, with time in the system and more experience, he now understands the offense, meaning getting in and out of the huddle is not going to be a problem. The formations, the personnel. So now when he gets to the line of scrimmage, he can focus on what the defense is doing. Reading the defense, understanding matchups, knowing where to go with the football. His processing is going to be much quicker now, which will lead to greater success. And the Broncos have all 5 guys on their offensive line returning. Continuity is one of the most underrated great values in all of sports, especially with the offensive line, because you need 5 guys to move as one. Talented quarterback going into year number 2. Continuity on the offensive line. Better weapons at tight end, at receiver, and at running back. And the Broncos could have the top defense in the NFL. Their defense was legit last year. You know how many sacks the Broncos had last year? You want to take a guess? They set the franchise mark with 61. It's one of the most in a single season in NFL history. And you combine that with a better secondary. They upgraded at safety, at corner, and at middle linebacker with Greenlaw. And they're in this wonderful window now where Bo Nix is on a rookie contract, which means they'll continue to be able to add. And after this year, the Russell Wilson dead money will be off the cap. So the Broncos now are set up over the next 3 to 4 years to make a legitimate run at a championship. And look, I can't help it. I lived in Denver. I love the Broncos. I can't help it if they've been great most of my life. AFC championship games, Super Bowls, 3 championships. I've lived a charmed life as a sports fan. I'm just letting it be known that the Broncos are back. And I'm pumped. And it goes to show what investing in coaching will do. Sean Payton got a Brinks truck dropped off on his lawn to take over as Denver Broncos head coach, but it's worth it because he knows what the heck he's doing. You get these franchises that go cheap on the coach, and they look like buffoons. It's the same thing with the Raiders. Now that they have Pete Carroll, they're going to be on the right track. Direction, foundation, culture building. Pete Carroll's no dum-dum. He knows what he's doing. So credit Mark Davis or Tom Brady or whoever made that decision, because now instead of having incompetence leading your franchise, they have a guy who's been there and done that, who's been very successful. The Raiders going to be improved. The Broncos are going to be really tough. The Chargers are legit with Harbaugh and Herbert. And I don't care what anyone says. I know people knock Herbert like, well, what has he done? He hasn't won any playoff games. I couldn't care less. Herbert is a legit superstar quarterback. He's delicious. What else can he not do? He can throw it, strong arm, mobile, smart. He knows what he's doing. I love Justin Herbert. And Jim Harbaugh is a stud. One of the best coaches in football. And then, oh, by the way, they've got the Chiefs, who are still a problem. And if I had to pick my team today, I would say Kansas City. But I'm just saying that their competition now in division is stout. So we'll see. Buffalo's going to be awesome. Baltimore's awesome. But the AFC West with Chargers, Broncos, and Chiefs, super legit. And there you have it. So I'm pumped. I can't wait for football season. And Bo Nix, I was wrong. I didn't know what type of quarterback he would be based on the college offenses that he plays in. And look at him now. And Jaden Daniels looks awesome going into year number 2. The league is going to be just fine. A lot of good quarterbacks in the league now. We need good quarterbacks. That equals great football. And what else do you want as a football fan right now? And college football is only getting better. They're going to expand to 16 in the playoff here in the near future. We'll get that in 26. And we had a 12-team playoff last year, which was awesome. Like, it's just great. I love everything about it. The Ducks are going to be super legit. And by all accounts, Dante should be just fine at quarterback. Penn State's going to be tough. Ohio State's going to be tough. Texas. And now we're hearing rumors that Nick Saban might jump back in and be a coach again. I'm telling you, man, coaches, anytime they say that they're done coaching and they're retired, they're lying. They can't get away from it. Like Bill Parcells retired like 4 or 5 times and he kept coming back. They're addicted to coaching. Bill Parcells and, of course, Bill Belichick. He couldn't even stay away. He's now coaching college football. Coaches are crazy because they just can't get enough. They love it so much, and they want to be in control. They want to be leading men. They want to be in the mix. They want that competition. They want all of it. It's great. I love everything about it. And I looked at the Oregon State schedule with Brendan, and I think the Beavs could win 7 or 8 games this year. I can't believe they're traveling to Tulsa to play in my hometown, to take on the Golden Hurricane. All right, 503-248-0620. The Godfather, Dwight Jaynes. Got to get him back on. He joined me yesterday, but then we got the news from Silver that apparently the Blazers are going to need a new arena when the new owner comes in. What does that mean? Is that a concern? Is he greasing the wheels because he knows that the team's going to move to Seattle, or is he just trying to apply some pressure to make sure that the new owner gets the support from the local politicians? I don't know. I still feel like today that we're going to get expansion because that's what Commissioner Silver wants. But because of James Dolan, the process is slowed. And you've got that group up in Seattle that got a new arena done for NBA basketball. But now the expansion team they thought they were going to get may not happen right away. What does that mean? And what happens if a group comes in from Seattle and buys the Blazers and pays many billions of dollars to do so? Would the NBA prevent that move from happening? Can you think of anything worse, like literally in this area, than the Blazers moving to Seattle? I'll jump on a bed of knives if that happens. I will pray to God that he sends a bunch of birds to peck me to death if that takes place. The Blazers in Seattle? Would the Sonic fans even want that? Oh, it's just gross. Just thinking about it makes me ill. And if that happens, I will personally kneecap a variety of different human beings. Commissioner Silver will be on my list. James Dolan, definitely on my list. Whoever buys the team on my list. I'm just going to go around looking to kick people in the knee. We don't need that in our life. Portland is a great NBA town. It's been successful for a very long period of time. Great fan base, great support, and it's a powerful part of the NBA in the Northwest. I'll tell you what would be a real kick in the balls. What if the Blazers moved to Seattle and then the NBA awards Vancouver an expansion team? Well, we got our Northwest rivalry now, Vancouver and Seattle. And then Portland just gets punked. I'd go crazy, man. Oh, my goodness. It's like the one team that we have that's legit, and now we got to worry about this nonsense. So we want one of two things. Local ownership group to buy the team and keep it here, or Commissioner Silver to use whatever power he's got to get the two teams awarded to Seattle and Vegas, and then we don't have to worry about it. It still scares me. I don't trust people they're as white as a ghost. And Adam Silver hasn't seen the sun in like 200 years. How can a guy look like that and be so vibrant? Do you go outside ever, Commissioner? And why do you look like that guy that used to be on He-Man, the villain, Skeletor? Can you explain that to me? All right, 503-248-0620. You can find me on social at Chad and Rip City. You can also join on the live stream on YouTube. Just go to Rip City Radio 620. Dwight James at 420, Sean Hiken at 520. You got the Rip City Drive. All right, we saw the Blazers last night take out the New Orleans Pelicans 93-87. They improved to 2-1 in summer league play. What'd you think about young Hansen last night? 27 minutes of action, 15 points, 2 assists, 3 boards, a steal, 2 blocks. He was showing some range, 3 of 6 from downtown. I'm just geeked out of my mind watching him play. He's having so much fun, but I'm starting to think that it's really hard to gauge Hansen because he's taking on some chumps down there in summer league. Like, he's making some guys look pretty bad. And I did have someone reach out to me after the first couple of games and just say that they even thought that some of the guys he was playing with currently on the Blazers summer league roster were holding him back because his skill level is so high. But it's been nice to see him progress. Like, he came out, had a great game one, but he's continued to play well and with energy throughout the course of summer league, which is great. Like, you've got to be pumped when you watch him play. And I love the enthusiasm. You know, that's what you get from a 20-year-old. Like, he's having the time of his life, but you can tell he's having fun out there. But again, pretty good security with the ball. He's got great length. And I guess what I'm curious about is long-term, defensively, how is he going to be utilized? Like, is he going to have to be a drop coverage type of defender? That would be my guess. Is he going to have the foot speed to be able to keep up and contest at the three-point line? Probably not, but maybe. I mean, he's pretty nimble for a big guy. That's been, I would say, maybe 2 of the most impressive things that I've seen so far. One, the way that he came out and the moment wasn't too big for him. Like, just the way he was very competent, controlled, and comfortable out there. That was a good sign at 20 years of age. But also the movement. Like, you know how sometimes when you see a big guy, like I remember back in the old days when I was growing up, like Manute Bol and some of these other really large centers, they kind of lumber around. Maybe a little bit clumsy, maybe not exactly light on their feet, but he moves very well. And if he can develop some Chet Holmgren type of movement, that would be fabulous. But I like what I see so far. The Blazers also got 24 from Ryan Rupert. He's been really good thus far. I think a lot of Blazer fans I've talked to have been pleased with the play of Caleb Love. City Siasco has shown a couple of moments down there. But this is the summer of young Hansen. It's going to be fun when the preseason hits and we get a chance to see him in a Trailblazer uniform. So there you have it. Another big night. 15 points, 3 boards, 2 assists, a steal, a couple of blocks, 3 of 6 from downtown. It was pretty wild to see him shoot up threes, too. And the release, it didn't take him that long. Like, he looked pretty comfortable in the shooting motion, which is great. So the Blazers next up on the schedule. The Blazers will take on the Houston Rockets. That will be tomorrow. It's going to be a 5 o'clock tip. You can watch on Blazer Vision, KUNP, NBA TV. So you've got options there. But I've enjoyed watching young Hansen. It's been fun. The Blazers may have discovered quite the player right there. But he's really turning heads. The 2 big stories out of Summer League so far have been young Hansen and, of course, the Dynamo from Duke. And I'm still bitter that the Dallas Mavericks somehow, someway got, quote, fortunate to move up and get him at number 1, Cooper Flagg. Let's go out to Gresham. My man John is out there. My phone screener says he loves Young. Let's go out there and talk to John. John, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, it's really comical the way the whole NBA reacted when the Blazers picked him, way ahead according to what they thought he was scheduled to go. But yeah, now he is turning heads and got lots of attention. But the question I want to ask you, Chad, before I rip on your Broncos, because I'm a Charger fan, is what do you think about? I know Chauncey's reluctant to play 2 bigs together. But what do you think about a 3-2 zone defense with our 2 bigs, Klingon and Hansen, covering, killing anybody that comes into the paint or swatting their shots out? And then you got 3 defenders on the wings attacking any 3-point shooters. What are your thoughts there?
Well, my thoughts on that, Hansen, is number 1, Chauncey Billups made it very clear after the draft that he had no plans to play them together. And the reason why is because I think what's happening is that more than likely, the two guys that will divide up minutes at the center position are going to be Klingon and Hansen, and that's why you probably won't have them on the floor together. And Billups doesn't think they complement each other well, but the way I look at any game is, depending on matchup and situation, maybe there's going to be a spot where you can have the two guys on the floor together for matchup purposes in short bursts. Maybe that's a possibility.
Yeah, Chelsea waffled a little bit last night during the interview. He kind of made it sound like he's open to the idea now.
Well, yeah, he gets a chance. Yeah, I mean, I'm open to a lot of ideas after seeing Hansen play down at Summer League,
For sure.
All right, now get on to your football take. What do you think about the Chargers, the Broncos, the Chiefs, and the Raiders all in the same division?
Nobody has really said nothing about, nobody's given, of course, Herbert any credit except for you. But the thing is, we've added two power running backs. Omari and Hampton, I don't know if you've seen any footage of him.
He's going to be a beast. He's a perfect Harbaugh running back. Yeah, he's a pimp.
He's a stud. And then, we got all the receivers we need. We beefed up the offensive line. We're going to be tough too, man. Don't count us out.
Oh, I'm not. Now, trust me, I know, man. I respect Harbaugh as much as anybody in the NFL, and I think Justin Herbert's awesome. Yeah, the Chargers are back too. That's the problem with that division, man. The Chiefs are tough. The Broncos are tough. The Chargers are tough. And now the Raiders have a legitimate head coach. That's a problem.
Yeah, but Bo Nix, you're high on him now, but I knew that coming out of college he was going to be a damn good NFL quarterback, and he's proven it.
Well, I'm glad you knew that. I sure didn't. I thought, why are they wasting a pick on Nix? You're taking him in the first round. I thought it was insane.
It was crazy.
Well,
anyway, good hearing from you, Chad.
Hey, John, it's good to hear from you, buddy. You got it. There's John. He loves young Hansen. Yeah, the AFC West is tough. I hate the Raiders, too. I hate Raider fans primarily because they're myopic. They always think they're going to win the Super Bowl, and yet they always wind up at the bottom of the division because they're hot trash. And again, no disrespect to anyone who's a Raider fan or a part of their organization. I'm sorry. My whole life, I've been hearing about the greatness of the Raiders, Al Davis and all the nonsense. You have to keep in mind, I grew up in Denver, and I was taught at a young age to dislike the Raiders, and I do. And Al Davis ripped off Mike Shanahan. He still never paid him the money he owed him when he fired him. And so Shanahan took it out on him and beat him like every single time he played him, almost. Yeah, but the Chargers are tough, too. Justin Herbert, I don't like the disrespect for Justin Herbert because he hasn't won a playoff game. The same thing about John Elway, too. It's like I knew he was great and phenomenal before he won a Super Bowl, and then all of a sudden he wins a Super Bowl and was like, oh, John Elway's great. No, he was great beforehand, idiots. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. I'm just excited for football season, that's all. I'm excited, and I think Bo Nix, I did not think he was going to be great, but he was great in his rookie year. Is there going to be a sophomore slump? Is there going to be some type of swoon in year number 2? Probably not. Oh, you got to listen to this story. This is wild. If you play golf, I play golf. This story is like you read it and you're like, wait, what? Here's what it says. A golfer, this is from ABC7 Eyewitness News. A golfer died days after being struck by lightning during a tournament at a course in New Jersey earlier this month, according to the New York Post. Simon John Mariani of Franklin Lakes was struck on the 15-hole at Balloween Golf Course in Hardenston on July 8th and died from injuries sustained during the incident Monday, July 14th. Brian D'Elia, a fellow golfer, told ABC7 Eyewitness News that he filmed the storm clouds in the darkened sky at the golf course minutes before Mariani was struck about 300 yards in front of him. Quote, I started filming, and he was right in front of me, and all of a sudden the lightning strikes, and I ended the video recording, and we immediately just started heading back to the clubhouse. Fellow golfers and an off-duty firefighter attempted to perform CPR on Mariani, who was transported to a local hospital via medevac. A spokesperson for Crystal Springs Resort, which operates Balloween Golf Course, claimed that the storm developed rapidly and an alarm sounded warning participants to seek cover from the lightning. Quote, nobody did anything to us. We didn't hear any horns to get off the course at all. They started blowing the horns when we were back at the clubhouse, And that was after the police were already out there. Miriani was a proud graduate of Notre Dame, where in 2019 he received undergraduate degrees in accounting and economics. Well, that's an awful story. And it shows how much of an idiot I am, because I remember one time I was out on the course and there was a lightning storm in the distance, kind of heading our direction. I was like, whatever, just a few dark clouds. But it shows I'm dumb. You're out there holding a metal stick, swinging around up in the air. I know that we can't control the way that we die, but you can add that to the list. I've got a list of ways I don't want to go. Do you have a list like that? My list would include airplane crash. That's probably at the top. Drowning, probably right behind it. Add lightning strike. That's got to be in the top 5. Being consumed by a large animal. Like, what are those things that look like dinosaurs that roll around on the ground, the giant lizards with the powerful jaw? They scare the crap out of me. There's some island where they like all live and stuff. A Komodo dragon. I think the Komodo dragon might be the scariest beast on the planet. They freak me out. But anacondas and giant pythons, like, I don't want to go to Florida. How about those guys that go out in the Everglades and hunt snakes for bounty? Like, much respect to those crazy fools. Like, if you're a Florida guy, those guys have giant cojones or they're just really dumb. What are you doing? I'm going to go hunt pythons for money. Really? I'm out. So that's my list that I can think of. Is there another way? I can't think of one. But I think the consumption by like a python or something, because you'd have to get choked out, so that'd be a process. And then hopefully you're dead when they try to swallow you whole. Like, I wouldn't want that either. But the Komodo dragon freaks me out. There's certain things that shouldn't be able to move as fast as they do, and yet they do. I don't want to encounter a gator on a golf course either. I don't want the death roll from a crocodile. All right, the Godfather, Dwight James, is coming up next. We'll get his reaction to Commissioner Silver's comments last night about the Blazers and Portland. You got the Rip City Drive. Well, I think it's important as time goes on that you take time to appreciate the friends that you have in your life. And I know the Godfather Dwight James is a true friend because I've been harassing him for the last 48 hours. He came on yesterday and was kind enough to give me 20 plus minutes of his time. And then we got these weird comments from Adam Silver last night. And so I hit him up today and said, hey, will you come on again? He said, I'm at your service. Take a listen to this, Godfather.
Sean?
Sean Hiken, Rose Garden Report. Adam, the Paul Allen estate a couple of months ago announced that the Trailblazers are officially for sale. So I'm just curious from the league's end, has there been any updates on that? And also, is it a priority for you guys that the team gets sold to a group that wants to keep the team in Portland long term?
Yeah, it's the league's preference that that team remain in Portland. We've had great success in Portland over the years. I don't have a specific update on the process, but I know it is underway, and I know there are groups that are actively engaged with the estate and have demonstrated interest in that team. I'd say one of the factors there is the city of Portland likely needs a new arena. So that will be part of the challenge for any new ownership group coming in, but it to certainly be our preference that team remain in Portland.
All right, there you go, Godfather. What was your reaction when you first heard the comments from Commissioner Silver?
Well, there's a lot to unpack there, Chad. First of all, I think it's funny that the question by Sean was, is it a priority to sell to somebody who's going to keep the team in Portland? And he responded, it's our preference to have the team stay in Portland. He did not say it was a priority. And I think there's a big difference between those two words. And I would much rather him say it's a priority. But moving on to other things, he also said during that conference that they were going to they're going to study and kind of look at expansion more. What he's basically saying is expansion is going to be delayed again. And they've been talking. Well, they haven't been talking, but everybody else has been talking about expansion now for about 5 years. And it's to the point where, everybody knows where they want to go. They were talking about Seattle and Las Vegas. It's an interesting thing now, and he throws in that bit about Portland needing an arena. And Chad, you know as well as I do, he didn't need to say that. Anybody interested in buying the team knows all about the arena situation. It's part of the fact-checking and vetting that a buyer would do on the franchise. They know all about the condition of the Rose Garden, what updates are needed, what a renovation might look like and cost. They have all that information. For him to mention it seems like putting undue pressure on a buyer. Maybe the city of Portland, where he's kind of intimating that the city ought to be chipping in on something like that. And then at the same time, I think painting a picture of a reason that a team could be sold to Seattle buyers because, of course, their arena is already renovated and ready for an NBA franchise.
We're talking to the Godfather, Dwight James. So I guess what I'm trying to figure out with the arena, so if a new ownership group comes in, would they almost certainly require public funds, or could you get a private group to build a new arena with the real estate that they want and put together something like the Battery down in Atlanta? Do they almost always require public funds?
No, they don't always require public funds. But I would say this, Chad, knowing from what kind of reaction the Portland Diamond Project got from suburbs around Portland, there are good deals to be made in the suburbs. Some of those little communities and counties would love to have Major League Sports because they know the economic impact it would have. And I do believe, and I've said this all along, that anybody who bought the team would be very interested in moving out of the Moda Center and into an arena where they had control of the real estate around the arena. It's obvious that arenas are not money machines, but the real estate around them very often is. And when you own a team, you don't throw off a lot of cash from that team or that arena. You break even or you make a little bit. The money that's made is off the real estate associated with it, the condos, the hotels, the bars and restaurants that you have control over. And that's where the money is, and people are finding that out. You're seeing it in baseball. You're seeing it in football and basketball now. That's what ownership wants to do. They want to get to areas where they can control real estate. And so I think that's what is probably going to be done. And I think anybody interested in owning the team has thought through that. They know that the Moda Center isn't crumbling. It's not falling down. They can play in there until they have a chance to acquire property and then get the financing for a new arena. And I think that's the general thing that would happen, ideally, from some of the groups interested in buying the team. And those groups are much different looking than ones that might want to move the team to Seattle.
Yeah, there's no question about that. How much pressure do you think Commissioner Silver is feeling to take care of this group in Seattle that got Climate Pledge Arena done in order to get the NBA in town?
Well, Chad, that's something that I should have written today that I didn't. And I've been thinking about this a lot. You know, those guys that did the help do and spur the renovations in what is now Climate Pledge Arena, they didn't do that to get an NHL team. Not that the Kraken haven't been wildly successful. They are. They're a great addition to the sports landscape in Seattle. But all that work was done to bring the NBA back. You know as well as I do, Chad, the kind of regret that whole town has about losing the Sonics. It's amazing how much that city and its sports fans yearn for the NBA to be back. It's a big deal. And what I wonder about, before they put the money down and before they got so actively involved in renovating that arena, and really it was more like building a new arena. All they kept was the roof, really. Everything else is new. Don't you wonder if maybe they had a handshake agreement with somebody in the NBA, like, for example, the commissioner, that if they did all that work, they would be getting a team? Now, the league probably thought, well, yeah, we'll just throw an expansion team their way. Well, now that other owners are putting a big stall, a big four-corner defense, not offense, but defense, against expansion because they don't want to share TV rights fees, don't you think it's possible that you can still keep your promise by letting a team transfer from one city to Seattle?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a possibility. If expansion is delayed but eventually happens, let's say it's delayed by a few years, does that increase the likelihood that Seattle could get a team from another city more so than expansion if that delay is in process or if it's pushed back another 2 or 3 years?
I do, Chad. I really do think that they're getting very impatient in Seattle, and a lot of money and time was spent on the renovation of what was Key Arena. And I think there is some impatience and some ideas of now, and I think Softy had a tweet about it. It's like he does not want to steal a team from Portland or anywhere else, but he's at the point where, give me a team. You know, I'll take a team from wherever. And when you start looking at the situation, you'd probably prefer an assembled team, a ready-made roster, and maybe a team that's actually up and coming rather than spending more money on an expansion team that may not be good for 5 years. And so, and I really do think the expansion fee might cost more than what it would cost to buy the Trailblazers.
Yeah, that's quite possible. Or do you think if there's no expansion or if it's put on hold for quite some time that could increase the value of the Trailblazers?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it certainly would. Yeah, it would. And so, and I worry too, Chad, that if there's some sort of auction for the team, all the funds are going to charity. If there's an auction, they can rationalize selling to anybody if it's the highest bidder. So if somebody from Seattle is the highest bidder, you can turn right around and say, look, this money's going to charity, and our responsibility is to get the most money possible for a charity. So those local groups in Portland trying to keep it here could be outbid by somebody from Seattle, and if they are, I don't like their chances.
Yeah, that money from Well, Amazon would be a good example. That's big-time money right there. They print their own money, Godfather. Do we know if Paul Allen, did he want the Blazers to remain in Portland?
I believe he did. I believe that was a wish of his. And I look back, when the Sonics left Seattle, there was the usual vote of the owners, and only two owners didn't vote for transfer of that franchise to Oklahoma City. And the two were Mark Cuban and Paul Allen. And he did not want to see Seattle moved. Now, obviously, he was a resident in Seattle, but he still didn't believe in moving the team out of there. So it's hard for me to believe he would want the team transferred out of Portland. It's really the same situation.
Well,
a city that's proven it's successful as an NBA supporter.
Well, we've seen recently where a couple of relocation efforts were thwarted by the owners. Do you think if that came up for vote, do you think the majority of owners would approve a move from Portland to Seattle?
Absolutely. Yeah, I do. I think they would approve pretty much any move nowadays because they themselves might want to move their franchise, or they might just want to use it as a threat. Anytime a team moves from one city to the other, it increases the value of the other franchises and increases their probability of getting local money to help renovate or rebuild or build a new arena in their town because people get frightened about losing. One of them has to actually move so that threat works better. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's going to believe you're going to move the team out of town unless somebody actually does it. Now all of a sudden it's like, oh man, Portland moved. They moved Portland. We got to worry here about losing our team. So maybe public money frees up to help, build something new.
Now with Commissioner Silver, don't you think he wants to expand, right? Like expansion's important to him. Don't you believe that?
Yeah, I think so. It should be. I think the more cities you're in, the more TV coverage you're getting around the country. And then there are very rich expansion fees that the owners will share in. And so, and I think it's just overall exposure of the product. I mean, heck, he wants to expand into Mexico and Europe and Asia and everywhere in the world. Why wouldn't he want to expand in this country? It only makes sense to expand. There's certainly enough good players now to man two more teams, I believe. There's a lot of good players riding the bench in the NBA now.
All right, so how would you summarize where you're at today compared to yesterday now that you know the thoughts of Commissioner Silver?
Well, I'm more fearful of losing the franchise today than before. I didn't like what I perceived as a passive-aggressive kind of statement by Silver about the arena. I think he knew what he was doing when he said that. And I didn't like that at all. And I don't like him coming out of that meeting discussing expansion and sort of putting the brakes on it a little bit. I mean, I would rather he came out of the meeting and say, okay, now we're accepting applications. We have this criteria for a candidate for expansion, and we're moving forward. He didn't say that. And I think it's high time that he probably did. Look, it's not a big mystery on how that league is going to expand. They've done it enough times now that everybody knows the process. They know how they're going to fill rosters. They know how the money. And what bothers me is they can write up any proposal they want for teams wishing for an expansion franchise. They can lock them out of that TV money for a certain period of time. And what are you going to do? Not apply for a team? You're still going to want an expansion team. So I don't know. I don't get it, Chad. But I now feel the same sort of things that I do, that a lot of the people in the Portland groups trying to get this team have felt for longer than I did, because maybe they knew something about what was going on in the league. And the people in these two groups I know about are connected well enough. They probably saw this coming, and that's part of the reason they're involved in this. They don't want to see Portland lose the team. And I know from the groups I've seen, it's not a desire to make a ton of money. It's a desire to keep that team where it belongs in Portland.
Yeah, well, the good thing is at least we have local politicians that understand the true value of sports in our area, right?
might be the funniest thing you've said in a long time.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
I would guess
laughing about that for a while.
Dwight, I would bet my bottom dollar that no one inside of the city council is even aware that Commissioner Silver had a press conference or mentioned the Trailblazers last night.
100% agree with you. and even then, I was told by somebody today, and we were talking about it at lunch, and he said, I bet you 75% of the people in Portland don't even know that there's some sense of jeopardy with losing that team. And he's probably right. I don't know if Portland in general is aware of what's going on, and that's why I'm trying to get the story out as best I can, because people aren't aware, and I don't know if there's much anybody can do about it. I hear, the governor and the mayor are talking, well, we're going to do this. Yeah. There's nothing they can do. There's absolutely nothing they can do, Chad.
Dwight, are you trying to tell me that Ron Wyden cannot prevent Jeff Bezos from moving the team to Seattle if he so desires? Come on now.
That's another pretty good one, Chad. No, there's this. What are they going to do? Call their mommy or something? I don't get it. I don't see how anybody. It's all up to the seller and the buyer. It's going to be a business transaction. Somebody's going to buy this team. I don't know when it's going to happen. Maybe sooner than we think. Maybe later than we think. But if they want to sell it to the highest bidder, I truly believe the highest bidder is going to come from up north.
Well, you know what would really stink is like Portland. Here's the part that irritates me is that Portland's been proven to be a very good NBA market, support a team, wildly successful, great fan support. If the Blazers move to Seattle and then the NBA expands, they're going to go Vancouver and Vegas, and then you put a team back in an already failed NBA city. That would be frustrating.
And their families outside the country for an entire season. Wow. I can't imagine that the Players Association would go along with that. But they're very interested in international expansion and trying south of our country rather than north. So I don't know, Chad, and I do know that Portland needs Seattle as a rival. Seattle needs Portland as a rival. You need two teams in this part of the country to make travel easier. It's just a whole it would be just a miserable situation for this city in general to lose one more major business, the business of sports in basketball, lose that again as all these other businesses are leaving town.
Can you imagine it? You once campaigned for mayor on the idea of getting baseball to town, and before you die, there could be no baseball and no basketball, and you're stuck with soccer and the WNBA. Isn't that wild?
Yeah. I would have a choice of becoming a fan of one of those or just sticking closer to my television and my satellite packages of other games.
One other question I want to ask you about, because I saw you comment on this. The WNBA Portland team announced their name with logo yesterday, the Portland Fire. Do you think that name, maybe they should have considered other names based on the fire damage recently up here in the Northwest?
Yeah, the governor today issued a what do they call it, a disaster warning or I don't know, I can't remember what they call it. But, yeah, our wildfires are once again out of control because we don't manage our forests correctly. But here we are again. And, I'm partially sensitive to this, Chad, because there's such a big deal about team nicknames now. Everybody is so ultra sensitive. I've seen so many of these nicknames get changed because of somebody. But the WNBA team comes along, and this nickname just flies through without anybody saying anything about it. Although I will say, Bill Oram has done some work at the Oregonian Oregon Live about this too, and he kind of feels the same way I do. When you have wildfires causing the kind of damage they are in the state, it is rather insensitive to name your team the Fire.
Yeah, Governor Kotek declares a statewide emergency with intense wildfire threat looming. Yep.
Yep, there you go. We're the Portland Fire.
Well, Godfather, I appreciate your time and insight. A little angst over this story. What do you think are the key things for Blazer fans to pay attention to over the next year as this thing continues to unfold?
Well, Chad, I think about all you can do is root for local ownership. And if at some point local ownership becomes and tell them that Portland doesn't deserve to lose a franchise just because Seattle lost theirs. That's not a good reason to move this one,
That's true. All right. Well, hey, I appreciate it. Give my best to Nancy, and I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Yeah, I hope it's probably not 4:20 again tomorrow, Chad, but no offense.
Well, if Commissioner Silver speaks again tonight, I might be hitting you up tonight, so be careful. Look out.
I figure that. No, I'm available to you anytime. I'll talk to you soon, probably.
There you go. That's my good friend, the Godfather, Dwight Janes. We'll react to that. I mean, if I find out it's a local group, I'll donate body parts. You need an eyeball. You need a finger. You need a testicle. Whatever you need to keep the Trailblazers in town, I would do it. But that's really it. Root for local ownership and pray that someone kneecaps James Dolan so the NBA can get expansion teams. One of those two things, local ownership or expansion. Sean Hyken will join me at 5:20. I appreciate your time on this sunny and spectacular warm Wednesday. You got the Rip City Drive here on your home of the Portland Trailblazers, 620 Rip City Radio. All right, 449 Rip City Drive. Chad doing with you. I know it's warm outside because I'm feeling moist underneath my shirt. Had a great workout today. I hate it when my armpits are moist and my lower back is moist, but my body temperature is like raging on the inside right now. All right, so we have a variety of different comments coming in. One thinks the Godfather's now woke. Oh, it just cracks me up. Because of his comments about the WNBA team being named the Portland Fire. Hey, the Godfather's entitled to his opinion, all right? That's good. Also got this one in from the 360. Russ in Vancouver says, my grandma always said 2 wrongs don't make a right. Adam Silver needs to hear that. Well, Russ, send an email to Adam Silver's email box, whatever that is, and let him know. Excuse me, Skeletor. I hope you see sun soon. And by the way, 2 wrongs don't make a right. Letting Seattle go to Oklahoma City was a mistake, and you're not going to correct that mistake by ripping the Blazers from Portland so they can be in Seattle, and then awarding Vancouver an expansion franchise after they've already failed as an NBA city. Best regards, Russ in Vancouver. There you go. I cannot read that text. I'm lucky I caught myself. Started to read one, and then I got down about 3 lines in and realized that would be wildly inappropriate. I'd be better off taking a phone call from Raider Mike. It might be safer that way. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. So we heard the Godfather's perspective. He is a little more concerned after the comments from Commissioner Silver. The man who was at the press conference last night, Sean Hiken of Rose Garden Report, will join the program at 5:20. We'll get his take on Silver's response and also talk to him about the play of young Hansen last night in Summer League in the victory over, was that the Pelicans they played, the Grizz, whoever they played, the Pelicans. And they're going to be back in action tomorrow night, 5 o'clock tip against the Houston Rockets. I think today is it the hottest day on record this year? According to my gauge, it says 97 degrees outside.
It's 40 degrees in the studio.
Is the thermostat ever proper in this building? It's always out of whack, Shaq. Always out of whack. 97 today, 89 tomorrow, 84 Friday, 80 on Saturday, 78 Sunday, 76 on Monday. Boy, that Monday is looking nice. That's perfect weather for the golf tournament, the 5th annual We Play Open. Alex Brink, Ryan DePaulo. The We Play Foundation is dedicated to giving access to sports to all children. And if you're a parent that has kids that participate in sports, you might know that you basically have to take out a small mortgage or get a payday loan to be able to pay for the access to the sports. I know, it's brutal. But the tournament's going to be fun. 1:45 shotgun start. Go to weplayfoundation.org/events, and you can sign up for a single. You can put together your foursome. I'll be back this year with Scott Belt, Alex Nelson, Kyle Nishida, and myself. And we came in second last year, and we're going to go for the crown. We're trying to get over the hump. So we'll see what we can accomplish in the tournament this time around. Scotty Bethune reached out, and he goes, dude, I just played Langdon. It's in great condition. It is. Forest Hills is in phenomenal condition. I have to give massive credit to Marcus. His course is fabulous. The way he's put it together, the improvements that they've made, the condition it's in, it's unbelievable. All right. Now, this is the music for Entertainment Tonight.
Yeah, John Tesh.
503-248-0620 is your telephone number. All right, we'll come back and remember Sean Hiken at 5:20. If you want to jump on board, 503-248-0620. You got the Rip City Drive. I haven't heard this song since Saturday evening when my daughter and her friend Kaylee and Brennan were screaming their heads off. The Weeknd, the 3 hours plus, and he went 40 songs. As I mentioned before, I respect the way that Weeknd went after it. I mean, he's quite the performer, good vocalist, and he's got a good variety of music. But that clown that opened up before him was terrible. I don't know, Playboy Cardi or something, but it's like Playboy, but it's spelled different. It's like Playboi. Not a fan. But Weeknd was cool. My daughter's response, she's like, Dad, it was so great, you just don't understand. And I'm like, no, I understand. I remember what it was like going to the first concert that I thought was amazing. It's just the Weeknd and Cardi. It's not my thing, but it wasn't about me. It was about them. And I think the first great concert I went to, which one was that? Well, it was probably back in early 95. I had purchased tickets to see the Eagles up in Tacoma in 94 for the Hell Freezes Over tour. Me and my buddy Corey Denboer, we were scheduled to go to the concert, but then Glenn Fry got sick, and so they pushed back some of the dates. So we ended up going in January of 95 to Tacoma. And I hadn't seen a big-time concert like that before. I'd been to a couple of concerts, but it's the first time I saw them, and I was completely blown away. And I would have had the same response that Kaylee had. It was so awesome, you just don't understand. It was so good that they were playing a couple of nights later at the Coliseum. So I got a ticket and went to that show. And then I was hooked. But I do like going to live music. But the weather was perfect. Like, that was what was cool about, Saturday night in Seattle. The concert didn't start until 7. They had an opening act, and then Cardi came out, and then Weeknd. But it was warm, and I wore shorts and a T-shirt, and I was comfortable the whole night. Even after the show, walking, about a mile back to the car. It was perfect. And then the two girls just crashed out hardcore in the back seat, and I was left to navigate I-5 South all alone. Russ in Vancouver has corrected the rough draft of his email to Commissioner Silver, and this is what it now says. Hey, Chad, how's this? Dear Skeletor. It's a good start. I mean, seriously, like, he's the commissioner. He makes many millions of dollars. Adam Silver's a powerful guy. Does he not like to go outside? Maybe he should pick up pickleball or something and start playing that. Just get a little bit of sun. That's all. His grill looks like my feet and ankles before I started wearing the short socks. And I fully corrected that problem I had from the cruise socks because my daughter was making fun of me. Dear Skeletor, this is Russ's revision. I firmly believe that we would all be better people and a better society if we all applied our grandparents' philosophies on life to our current day and age. That being said, my grandmother always said 2 wrongs don't make a right. Allowing the Trailblazers to move to Seattle would be exactly that. 2 wrongs that wouldn't be right. Please know that the only solution is expansion for the Seattle market. Also, Chad Dilling will break your effing leg. Thank you, Russ in Vancouver. I'm not going to break his leg. I just want to kick him in the knee. Kneecap him. Him and James Dolan. I've got a list of people who mismanage sports properties that need to be capped. Kneecapped. Like, James Dolan's not a good guy. And every time he steps in to make decisions, the Knicks don't get better because of it. Like when they settled on a head coach after they fired Tom Thibodeau. Oh, well, what do I care? It's only New York. But he should not be booting Charles Oakley out of the Madison Square Garden. And he should not be using his money and influence to get his band, JD and the Straight Shot, in a position to open for the Eagles. We don't want an opening act, and we definitely don't want you. But again, when you're worth billions, you can use that influence to do whatever you want. And he certainly did, because I think he's boys with Irving Azoff, who's been the longtime manager of the Eagles. It just amazes me. Dude, you're not qualified to open for them. Save that for the real musicians, Jimmy. And stop trying to get other owners on your side to prevent expansion from happening. I'll never forgive Dolan if this happens. And again, I don't think it's going to happen, but I now believe it's a possibility it could happen. That's where I'm at. But I can't wait to talk to Sean Hyken to get his take. 503-248-0620. And if you're just joining me, Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, held a press conference last night. Sean Hyken, who is our esteemed Trailblazers insider from Rose Garden Report, was at the press conference, and he told me he was going to get in to ask this question, and he did. And here's how it went down.
Sean?
Sean Hyken, Rose Garden Report. Adam, the Paul Allen estate a couple of months ago announced that the Trailblazers are officially for sale. So I'm just curious, from the league's end, has there been any updates on that? And also, is it a priority for you guys that the team gets sold to a group that wants to keep the team in Portland long term?
Yeah, it's the league's preference that that team remain in Portland. We've had great success in Portland over the years. I don't have a specific update on the process, but I know it is underway, and I know there are groups that are actively engaged with the estate and have demonstrated interest in that team. I'd say one of the factors there is the city of Portland likely needs a new arena. So that will be part of the challenge for any new ownership group coming in, but it does certainly be our preference that team remain in Portland.
There you have it. So I don't know what your reaction is to that. I was slightly alarmed that he brought up the arena situation. So what was he doing there? Was the commissioner trying to apply a little bit of heat to let people know that, hey, we need to get a new arena in Portland? Or was it the commissioner greasing the wheels for a potential move? That's really the question. And the Godfather knows at least two groups who are local, who want to keep the Trailblazers in town. So basically what we're pulling for as Blazer fans, one of two things. Local, you ever have words that just don't come out the way they're supposed to? So we want one of two things. Local ownership group dedicated to keeping the Trailblazers here in the Rose City, or Commissioner Silver getting his wish, which is NBA expansion, which would guarantee both Seattle and Las Vegas to getting teams. You know, Portland's been a great NBA town for a long time. Great fan support. There's a special connection between team and community here. And regionally, it makes sense to have teams in both Seattle and Portland, because you have a natural rivalry between the two teams. And that's how it works. And that's what I'm hoping for. So we'll see. But that's the latest. Other than that, the Trailblazers are in Vegas for Summer League, and young Hansen continues to be the story down there, along with Cooper Flagg. Hansen stepping back, showing some of his range last night, 3 of 6 from downtown. I still continue to be blown away by the way that he moves. He moves very well for a guy of that size. Didn't know what to expect, but I didn't expect that. I'm excited to see him reject shots. But he looks comfortable. You know, the moment doesn't look too big. And he's having fun. And I like to see young guys have a lot of fun. So it's pretty cool. And Hyken's down there. He's also going to be taken off to go to the WNBA All-Star Game. I don't know if he's going to be there on Friday night. I'll ask him. But Sabrina Ionescu and Caitlin Clark are going to face off in the three-point competition. And maybe the WNBA will get their officiating figured out at some point so that Clark stops getting mauled all the time and gets nicked up with injuries. Might want to protect some of your star players so they don't get hammered all the time. Come on now. But that's going to be fun because Sabrina's awesome. Caitlin is awesome. And I want to see those two sharpshooters go head-to-head in a three-point competition. Like, to me, that's must-see television. And I will tune in to check that out. Also, a couple of things going on. Pup City is going to be on the 27th, which is a week from Sunday. And it's a dog walk. And it's a fun one. And it's not a long one. It's short, a 1.3K. And you do it around the campus there at Rose Quarter, which is nice. I took puppy shots down last year. We're registered. And I informed him he's going to be going with me again, so he's excited. Blaze, the trail cat's going to be there. but you can come down and join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we talked to earlier, One Tail at a Time. They're the focused nonprofit for the event. So they collect dogs and save them and then get them out to foster homes and eventually find homes for them, which they do great work. And so you should come down and join us. Also on Monday, which is the 21st, just a few days away, it's going to be the 5th annual We Play Open. A chance to get out and play golf in the sun. The weather's going to be a little bit cooler, so it's going to be perfect. And the tournament's awesome. Ryan DiPaolo, former Duck, Alex Brink, former Coug from E4 Sports, put on the event. And it's a 1:45 shotgun start. If you go to weplayfoundation.org/events, you can sign up for your single or sign up your foursome, and then you'll be able to play golf. I'll be there. I've got my team together, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And going back to that story of the golfer that was struck by lightning tragically, Scotty Bethune said I should hold my one iron up in the air. First off, I don't have a one iron. Who, aside from Tiger, who's carrying a one iron these days? Especially when you have access to hybrids. Todd has chimed in. Even odds at best, Blazers remain. The state, county, city will mess the bet on a new stadium demand and save the Coliseum. People will show up with the Save Our Grain elevator folks. Does anyone know why that grain elevator's out there? It's weird. You get down there and it's like you got this motor center, which is awesome. And you look over and you're like, whoa, the grain elevator? Like, I don't even know why it's there. Why is it there? The only new thing I've seen go up down there is that there's that homeless camp. But the grain elevator is funny to me because I see it. I've just never asked myself why it's there. But now I'm asking the question, why is the grain elevator there? Does anyone know? And why can't someone just take that down? Save our grain elevator, folks. God, come on. Oh, my gosh. It's hard to compete with that Amazon money. Like, if you got those two factions inside Amazon that are looking to get things done, they print their own money. This song right here makes me want to break dance. All right, Sean Hyken. I was in my 4th grade talent show in Colorado. I was in the talent show, and we did breakdancing to this song, and I sucked. I wore parachute pants for crying out loud. No pictures or video exists from that day either, thankfully. If you could have seen young Chad trying to do a backspin, it would bring great joy to your life. Or the wave. I cannot dance. I cannot sing. I'm basically a no-talent A clown. That's all. All right, Sean Hyken, Rose Garden Report, going to join us next. He was at the press conference, asked the question. We'll get his take on Adam Silver's response. We'll do it next here on the Rip City Drive.
Sean?
Sean Hiken, Rose Garden Report. Adam, the Paul Allen estate a couple of months ago announced that the Trailblazers are officially for sale. So I'm just curious, from the league's end, has there been any updates on that? And also, is it a priority for you guys that the team gets sold to a group that wants to keep the team in Portland long term?
Yeah, it's the league's preference that that team remain in Portland. We've had great success in Portland over the years. I don't have a specific update on the process, but I know it is underway, and I know there are groups that are actively engaged with the estate and have demonstrated interest in that team. I'd say one of the factors there is the city of Portland likely needs a new arena. So that will be part of the challenge for any new ownership group coming in, but it does certainly be our preference that team remain in Portland.
All right, he was at the press conference right now, and he's on the road to the WNBA All-Star Game, and he joins us right now. It's Sean Hiken of the Rose Garden Report, our Trailblazer insider. Sean, I appreciate your time. You were at the press conference. You asked a question. What was your initial reaction to what Commissioner Silver had to say?
Well, for the most part, I just thought it was kind of what you would expect the commissioner to say, as far as, like, you know, he's not going to say, oh, we're totally fine if a team moves. He's always going to say that, like, the preference is going to be for the team to remain in Portland. And then obviously he wasn't going to be able to give any specific details on how the sale process is going. That's going to be something that the Vulcans and the Paul Allen estate are going to share whenever the time is right to do that. But the part about him saying out loud that the team is going to likely need a new arena, that was a little bit new, because the Blazers' plan for several years now, you know, both before and after the announcement a couple months ago that the team was for sale, has been that they, you know, had this whole renovation plan, this multi-year thing put out there for the Moda Center that they're hoping to get done by 2030 for the women's Final Four. So for the commissioner to then, you know, say on the record yesterday that the city's probably going to need a new arena, that's certainly an interesting thing, but also it's probably not unexpected, because at some point, whoever ends up buying the team, whether that happens in the next year, which I think is probably the timeline that we're probably looking at for that, they at some point probably, because usually, you know, when somebody buys a sports team, usually at some point they're going to want a new arena. So you knew that discussion was going to happen at some point. It was just kind of interesting that the commissioner actually said it out loud.
Are you concerned by those comments? Did you take it as, hey, he's just letting everyone know that a new arena will be needed at some point? Or do you think he was greasing the wheels for a potential move with the franchise at some point?
I'm not really that concerned. I absolutely believe that the NBA does not want the Blazers to leave Portland, because, I mean, even with, you know, Seattle, you know, up in the air because they aren't maybe moving as quickly on expansion as people kind of thought they were going to. If, you know, if you move, you know, a team from, let's say you move the Blazers from Portland to Seattle, you're still not solving the problem of, you know, one team in the Pacific Northwest that's just totally isolated and has this nightmare travel schedule and just leads the league in travel miles, you know, every single season. So I think eventually what's going to happen is, I don't know when it's going to happen, probably sometime in the next 5 years, maybe not in the next 2 or 3 years like we thought, but at some point Seattle is going to get an expansion team back. But, you know, the Blazers are one of the most successful small market teams in the NBA. They've been in the top 10 in attendance for 17 of the last 25 years since the turn of the century, and they've also made the playoffs 26 out of the last 37 years when, you know, since Paul Allen bought the team. So, you know, and also being, you know, a market that only has one major professional sports team, it's, you know, it's not a market I think they're really eager to leave. You kind of saw what happened with Sacramento when the ownership group wanted to come in and move the team to Seattle, and the league, you know, pulled out a lot of stops to shut that down. I think if it came down to it, they would probably do the same thing here.
Yeah, I get the sense that Commissioner Silver really wants expansion to happen. Even if they're going to delay expansion, I still think it's going to get done at some point. At least that's the indication I would get from everything that's being said. What's your read on that?
I would agree, and it's not really that surprising that there are some owners. I do think Silver wants it, and I think there are some owners that want it. But I think the hang-up is there are some owners, and it's, you know, the one that comes out a lot that you hear about a lot is James Dolan, the owner of the Knicks, who's kind of opposes everything because he likes to be difficult. But I think it's more than just him. But there are definitely some owners that don't love the idea of suddenly dividing all the money that everybody is getting 32 ways instead of 30 ways, because that's less money for everybody, even though there's way more money coming into the league now. You look at the new TV deal that's about to kick in, and also the fact that the Lakers just sold for $10 billion and the Celtics sold for about $7 billion. So, like, there would be, it's a ton of money coming in anyway, but there are owners that don't love that idea. So, I think it's a little bit of a slower process. I do think eventually it's going to happen. I think it's definitely going to be Seattle. The Vegas part of it is kind of interesting because I don't think, it's kind of like the logical thing is, it's going to be Seattle and Vegas, but I kind of started hearing that they don't love the arena situation in Vegas. They don't really like T-Mobile, which is the arena that they built for the Golden Knights. And, I think the new ownership group in Vegas would probably want to build a new arena there too. And you don't know whether that's going to get approved or not because they're sort of trying to get the baseball stadium done for the A's when they move there. So that stuff is all kind of up in the air. I think Seattle, if they decided to move forward with it, would be pretty straightforward because they have the arena. They have an ownership group that's tied to the Seattle Kraken that's like ready to go. So I think that's going to happen eventually, but I don't know when or how long it's going to take.
All right, a couple other things for you, Sean. First off, you're on your way to the WNBA All-Star Game, which is great. Will you be there Friday for the three-point competition featuring Caitlin and Sabrina?
Hopefully. I'm in the middle of kind of a nightmare travel day right now. I got into O'Hare just fine. And my flight to Indy was supposed to be taking off like now, but when I landed, I saw that my flight was canceled, and then like they put me on a 6:45 a.m. flight tomorrow, and so I had to go talk to the front desk, and now I'm on standby for a flight tonight at 10 p.m. that hopefully I'll get on. So assuming I make it to Indy, yes, I will be there for all the stuff, all both of the days.
That's going to be fun. I can't wait to see that competition. What was your takeaway from the Blazers and young Hansen last night?
That was, arguably, I would say, even if his numbers were not, quite as impressive, I would say that might have been the most impressive game that he played last night because it was the closest game that they played. Like they won that first game against the Warriors, but that one was a blowout, and the Warriors summer league team didn't really have any NBA talent on that roster. You look at that Pelicans team that they played last night. It was a more competitive game, so you got to see what he looked like in an actual contested game when it isn't just a blowout where he can put up numbers. And not only that, but also a team that has two, very good bigs who are, both recent first-round picks in Derek Queen and Yves Missy. And he held his own against both of them. So, and, you saw kind of some of the expansion of his game last night. He knocked down 3 3-pointers, which I don't know if that's going to be a consistent part of his game because, they always remember when they drafted Donovan Clingan last year and it was always, he's going to be able to shoot threes in the NBA. And you're always just kind of like, okay, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. But he knocked down 3 of them last night and his shot looked pretty good. So I would say, through 3 out of the 4 summer league games, I don't think there's really any level on which the Blazers and their fans shouldn't be extremely encouraged by what they've seen out of Hansen.
Yeah, no question. I guess I continue to be impressed. Like, even with the three-point shooting last night, he didn't look awkward or robotic when he was putting up the shots. But the moment hasn't looked too big for him, and he moves really well for a guy of his size. I mean, those are the basic things that jump out to me when I watch him.
That's all you wanted to see out of Summer League. It really doesn't matter what numbers somebody puts up in Summer League, especially for a big man, because it's really hard for bigs to look good in Summer League just in general. So you just wanted to see, can he hold his own against other, NBA caliber bigs, and is he going to look like he's getting sped up out there, or and he cleared all that stuff and then some. So I think the Blazers everybody's pretty excited about what they've seen over the last week with him.
That's great. Sean Highkin is in the middle of a horrific travel to the WNBA All-Star Game. Sean, great work. I love it because you told me this is my plan. I have a mission at the Commissioner Silver press conference, and you got it done. Nice work.
Yeah, he hasn't commented on the record about it since they announced that the team was for sale. So, I've had the opportunity to ask him about it, and he gave that answer. And then, we'll see where that ends up landing.
Well, great work. Keep it up, and we'll catch up soon. Safe travels, buddy.
Yeah, I'll talk to you soon, Chad.
There you go. 5:30 here on the Rip City Drive. Michael Shacker's in the house. I am in the house. I think we're the only ones inside the building right now. The news guy, Brad Ford's always looming, too.
Oh, he's not in the house right now.
Oh, he's out too. So it's just you and I.
Yeah, no body heat. That's why it's freezing cold in here.
Hey, pull up that song if you've got it, Shacker, from the weekend. I think it's called Out of Time. That was my favorite song of the show on Saturday. And I think it shows his versatility as an artist. Again, I'm not a, quote, fan of The Weeknd like my daughter and her friend or the other 65,000 people that were there. But this is one of those songs I was like, okay. Remember I was telling you yesterday I don't pay attention to lyrics? And then someone said, hey, have you seen the lyrics to this song? He's singing about cocaine. I don't know anything about cocaine, and I don't pay attention to lyrics. But this song, as soon as I heard it, I was like, okay, I'm down.
Best cocaine song is Eric Clapton.
Isn't that named Cocaine?
Yeah.
Yeah, this song's good. And my daughter said, well, of course you like that song because it's more of the smooth jazz song. I'm like, what's wrong with that? That's a good song. And you said the only song you knew was Blinding Lights, Shacker?
It's the only song by The Weeknd. Yeah, he did his Super Bowl performance. That's the only song I remember.
I did some rough estimates. Let me pull this up again. Let's see here. Pull out the calculator. All right. What was it? 1 billion times 1,005. He makes roughly around $5 million when a song streams for 1 billion times on Spotify. That's pretty good coin. And he's got 27 songs that have gone over 1 billion streams. So let's just do some quick math here. $135 million just off of songs streamed. And a couple of those songs, or a few of those songs, have gone 2 billion times. That's not a bad gig if you can get it, I guess. All right, so there you go. See, I'm open. I'm not completely closed-minded. That is a song that I'll put in my rotation. Out of Time. 503-248-0620. Have you ever went to a concert, Shacker? I was talking about this the other day. Like, I had a girlfriend once that was pulling me to shows that I wasn't exactly down with. But have you ever gone to a concert that you weren't excited about, but you maybe heard a song or two that you thought was okay?
Yeah, I went to the Blues Festival, 4th of July weekend.
This year?
Yeah, because the headliner is someone my wife really likes. But, I mean, I hear the music through her, and I'm like, oh, whatever. I'll just go because you're going.
Oh, okay.
I had a blast. But, I mean, it's music I don't really care about.
Hey, give me a little more volume on this. Yeah, this is good. There were definitely some themes that were not appropriate for a 15-year-old girl. And create your own weekend, the podcast playlist, right? Oh, goodness. All right.
Did you hear how much money Ozzy's charity final concert brought in?
I just know he sounded terrible at the concert. How much did it bring in?
The concert brought in a total of $190 million to be split up between 3 charities. It is the most money brought in for a charity concert in the history of charity concerts.
Even more than like Farm Aid and all that?
Yeah. Live Aid brought in only $100 million, and Farm Aid brought in $80 million.
Good for Ozzy. Wasn't he like sitting in a chair? Like, he's not doing very well.
Yeah, he sat in a chair, did 5 solo songs, and like 5 more songs with Black Sabbath. You should do this every year if it's going to bring in this much money.
Yeah, I felt bad when I went to the Phil Collins concert back in 2019. You know, his health, his physical movement, his health was deteriorating. He sat in a chair. He had like a Phil Collins rocking chair out there. He sat in it during the show at times. It was weird to see him singing and sitting. I felt bad for him, you know, because he had like a foot or some type of issue or whatever. And he stood for a couple of songs, but it was different.
I'm just craving for a whole night charity thing because I used to watch the Jerry Lewis telethon, and there'd be like music performances late at night, and I need something like that in my life. It's been too long without a big old weekend charity event.
Did you used to watch night tracks on TBS when you were younger? Videos?
No, I just watched MTV.
I'm sorry, I just did a sniff check on my armpits because
I almost mentioned that.
I
took
did.
a big sniff of each armpit too. Is one smellier than the other one?
No, they both smell. I still smell my deodorant. Like I still smell fresh, but I was concerned because again, it's been warm. I've been moist. Bethune brought up a good point too because I was talking about how I hate when I can feel like my armpits get moist when it's hot, or when I feel sometimes I can feel the moisture on like the small of my lower back. He said the worst is when you feel that drop of sweat starting to work its way down your back, knowing it's going to enter into your crack. And I would have to admit that is an uncomfortable sensation. That's not a good thing. But haven't you been outside because you're remodeling or doing stuff? You've been out in the garage a lot, right?
Yeah. I didn't drink enough fluids the last couple of days in this heat. I'm paying the price for it.
Were you like partially dehydrated right now?
Yeah. I mean, I'm getting through it today, but yeah, I paid the price working outside the last 2 days. I'm not built for it. I do radio work. I'm in ice cold radio studios.
Joe, the drummer, has chimed in. Every time I think of Bo Nix, all I can think of is the nonsense he spouted about the Iron Bowls last year at Auburn. I love Joe because he's a big Tide fan.
Would you get mad at me if I talk smack if the Broncos lose their first preseason game to the 49ers and then I come to work the next day? And
No, you can't talk smack about preseason because it doesn't matter. I think the Broncos open up at home against Tennessee, so they're at least going to open up with a win. But you're very fortunate because the 49ers have the most incredible schedule that you could imagine. Just on the basis of schedule, the 49ers should have great success this year.
Hope you're right.
And you got to be happy right now, too, because the Giants, your 49ers are going to be good, and your Giants are competitive right now.
Yeah. And then I just need good news with these Blazers. Please tell me they're not leaving. This has been a tough show today.
I know. Do you watch the Croup and Kite broadcast all the time?
All the time. Yeah.
I would say that they're elite. Like they're two of my favorites.
Yeah. And Mike Krukow hasn't gone on the road for like 6 years now.
I know.
And it's still good broadcast with him doing it from his home.
And you love John Miller as well, right?
Yeah. Big fan.
Let's see here. I love the Yankee Stadium home run. This one here makes me happy because I love, like, John Miller's great and he's cool, but this call's great.
Now Barry Bonds comes up. Let's listen in.
Number 25, Barry Bonds, designated hitter. Number 25.
Bonds at slightly open stance, feet fairly close together, crowding the plate. The pitch. There's a long one to right field. Forget about it. This one is headed for New Jersey. High into the upper deck. Barry Bonds with a spectacular 3-run homer. And he has electrified Yankee Stadium. 3-0 Giants.
Yeah, John Miller's awesome. He is a elite play-by-play voice. Who is this?
Limp Bizkit. Nookie.
We go from Weekend to Limp Bizkit. All right, 503-248-0620. The biscuits that my daughter made last night were not limp. They were like hockey pucks. I was like, you're going to eat that? I was like, be careful with your teeth. All right, we'll keep things rolling. Rip City Drive, appreciate your time here in your home of the Blazers, 620 Rip City Radio. Gotta love this. Thundercat decided to get together with Kenny Loggins and Michael McDonald. Like, that's a guaranteed win. Like, if you decide, you know what? How can we make this song better? Hit up Michael McDonald because he sounds like a bro, and hit up Kenny Loggins. It's a guaranteed to win.
Thundercat needs to get back into acting. He had a part in the Book of Fett.
That was awesome. That was awesome. Here's Kenny. All right. Dabo Swinney, college football season right around the corner. Dabo got Brian Kelly, the head coach from LSU, confused with Brian Kelly of Florida. Oh, this should be good. Let's take a listen.
Right? It's right there on Great Beach, little spot. So my brother or my sister-in-law, she's saying, hey, Brian Kelly has a place. His wife has a gift shop right on the corner there in Grayton Beach. I'm like, oh, really? That's pretty cool. I had no idea. So anyway, we go there, and I walk off. So I go into the store. Me and Kath walking in the store. Kath buys something because she's trying to support Mrs. Kelly or whatever we're doing. So she buys something, and we go in the store, and I'm walking around. I go out, and they're like, yeah. And he's got a concert. He's going to have a concert in the back. So I'm like, okay, I'll walk out in the back. There's a little stage in the back, and there's like some, I think it's like fake grass or whatever, just a small little area. And it says Brian Kelly, performing live on this day, whatever. And I'm going, freaking hey, Brian Kelly can sing, play. I didn't know that. So I'm like taking pictures, and I'm sending it to Brian Kelly. I'm sending all these pictures to Brian Kelly. And then I'm going, I get on the stage, Brian Kelly, I'm just kind of having some fun. I'm like, hey, and I sent all this to Brian Kelly, all right? Well, then the guy that was with my brother, he's walking over because Cass said something about, I don't know what she said. I just can't believe that Brian Kelly, this is really cool. And she's, like, we played them or something in the opener or whatever to the guy. And he's like, what? And as it turns out, there's another Brian Kelly. And he's like, what's the band? Anybody know? It's something Florida Georgia Line or something. I think it's called Florida Georgia Line or Georgia Florida Line Band. Florida Georgia Line Band, and he's like a lead singer or something. And I've even heard their songs, but I don't know all these people's names. But I have no clue. So now Kath goes, babe, it's Brian Kelly's a singer with Florida Georgia Line. And I went, what? I've been fired all these pictures off to Brian Kelly. He's over there probably going, what the hell? This is an idiot. What is this dude doing? So anyway, good spirit. He doesn't know this. He'll know this now. But I was going to wait and tell him this when we got to, midfield or whatever. But this will save me we can just laugh about it. So I'm thinking this is like the Brian Kelly. I'm like, wow, he's going to perform live, a small crowd. His wife's got a shop. And so finally he sends me a text. He's like, man, that was great. He said, yeah, you just can't get away from Brian Kelly or something like that. I'm sure he was like, I have no idea what the context of this is. But anyway, and then I realized that it wasn't. I'm like, oh my God. So anyway, we'll have a laugh over that. But
there's Brian Kelly, or the story from Dabo about Brian Kelly. Dabo is a cool dude when he's not whining about the changes in college football with NIL and transfer portal. And Dabo's a good dude, but sometimes he annoys me because he gets real whiny about not wanting to pay players, wanting to do things the way that he wants to do them. So it's just interesting to me, but that's a good story. Brian Kelly of Florida Georgia Line was putting on a show. He thought it was Brian Kelly from LSU. Oops. But that's what I was talking about. His wife pulled him to a concert. He had no idea what was going on. Just like I mentioned, I've been there before. Like, oh, who's Lori Morgan? And why am I here right now? What's going on here? I have no idea. Oh, well, it's hard to believe the football camps are almost upon us. Well, that's going to be so good this year. And the first weekend, there are good games in the first weekend, the 0 week and in the first week, which is nice. Now, Shaq, are you going to be traveling to all the games with Oregon State?
Oh, yeah.
You're going to Tulsa, baby.
it's been talked about a little bit on the air. Appalachian State, where Raider Mike is doing some FEMA work.
That's right. You can visit and hang out with Raider Mike. Hopefully you'll survive that. But that seems like that'd be a fun place to travel to.
Oh, yeah.
They've got a rich tradition of success.
Yeah, it's just something new. I mean, this is just a weird era for the Oregon State team right now with you're waiting for the conference to come back. So you have some interesting opponents this year.
They just got Texas State, so now they got enough football teams for the FBS level. And you got to be happy with how they were able to keep the conference together, considering where they're at a year ago.
I'm thankful they figured something out. Because in this world of negativity, how bad it was just a couple summers ago where we watched it implode and you talked about it on the show, it's glad to know that there's something to look forward to in the future.
Yeah, no question about it. All right, so temperature hot today. Their temperatures will drop a little bit over the next few days, so we're going to have a good weekend ahead of us. I'll be back with the Rip City Drive tomorrow. Alex Brink's going to be joining me either tomorrow or Friday. And don't forget, we got more Trailblazer basketball coming up tomorrow. Summer League game, 5 o'clock, Houston Rockets. And you can watch it on NBA TV, Blazers Vision, or KUNP. So multiple options for you to check out the Blazers. And, of course, you can podcast. Just go to our free iHeartRadio app. 2 different perspectives on the comments from Commissioner Silver, the Godfather Dwight Jaynes, and our Trailblazer insider, Sean Highkin. Big thanks to Michael Shacker. Big thanks to the Trailblazers for getting me set up to talk about Pup City. Gabby Davin doing a heck of a job. And we're able to dive in. It's coming up on the 27th. You can register and go on a nice little walk with me on Puppy Shots. Bring your dog. Big thanks to Austin Bergquist of the Trailblazers and Aiden Wood from One Tail at a Time, to Sean and to Dwight. You guys have a good night.